Okay, so today I want to show you how to level your camera, regardless of what kind of terrain or surface that your tripod is on, or even if you're shooting handheld. I want to show you how to level your camera so that when you go home, after shooting, for a day or however long you were shooting, when you get home and look at all your pictures or your video, they will all be leveled horizontally, because there's nothing more frustrating than you get home, offload your footage from your SD card, and then you take a look at them and your horizons are all slanted. If it's video, same thing, the video is not level. So it just doesn't look good. It looks unprofessional if you're going to be delivering these kind of footages to clients. If it's for your personal use, then of course you can reshoot if you have the chance. Even though it can be really frustrating. But yeah, and I know in some editing software you can level in post, whether it's photo or video. But the way I look at it, the best way to go about this is to get it right the first time. All right, so I want to show you how to get your camera level horizontally, so that you'll be happy with your images when you get home. All right, now there are two main ways that you can do this. You can either use the bubble level on your tripod, if your tripod has a bubble level, and most good tripods that you will buy nowadays will have a bubble level on it, right? This little thing with a liquid inside, and when the tripod is completely level, then the bubble in that little thing will be centered. All right. The other way you can do this, that was one way. The other way you can ensure that your camera is level is using the level gauge, the level meter or the level gauge that's built inside most cameras. Most cameras have this feature, and all you have to do is just explore your camera a little bit, whether it be a video camera or a photo camera. Explore it a little bit, get into the menu, and you'll find that it's a very essential piece of tool, especially when you're out and about, and you have to place your tripod in areas where the terrain is not completely level, or the floor is not completely level, and especially if the tripod does not have a bubble level. This can help you. Using the level gauge on your camera can actually help you to ensure that your images or your video is properly leveled horizontally. All right, so yeah, so let's do it. So like I said, the most important thing is to understand your camera, figure out your camera, and just exploring your camera until you're able to find that feature, because most modern cameras do have that feature. Okay, so beside me here on my desk here, I have three cameras with me. They're basically photography cameras, but essentially they are hybrid cameras. They can shoot both photos and videos very well. They all shoot 4K in different flavors, so they are very good cameras. And what I have noticed among all three, the way you would find the level gauge on in these cameras, it's almost similar. They're almost similar, the way you go about finding it. And the common denominator that I noticed is that you would hit the display button. All right, this is the Panasonic G85. This is a very it's an older camera, released about 2018 or 19. Shoots beautiful 4K. I use this camera to shoot all kind of stuff. Right now I just have a little photo lens on it. Yeah, but anyway, and the way you would for this specific camera, this specific model, from 3 different manufacturers. You know, I failed to mention that. So I have cameras from 3 different manufacturers here. Panasonic, Olympus, right, and Nikon. This is my most recent purchase, Nikon Z50 Mark II. All right. So let's start with the Panasonic, and I noticed the way to find the level gauge on this camera is to, you know, after turning on. Right now I don't have a memory card in it, so you'll notice that. But after turning it on, essentially what you would do, you would just hit the display button. So I'm going to hit the display button now, and okay. All right, and as you can see, you'll see this thing, this kind of crosshair thing moving back and forth, right? So the way this works, when the camera is level, it will be centered, you know, horizontally. But not only will it be centered, it will turn green. So let me see if I can do this under my overhead camera right now. All right, yeah, there we go. So for the so right now it's green. So green, when it turns green, it essentially means that the camera is leveled. Of course it went to sleep because I'm not doing anything with it, but you get the gist. So with this specific model here, I will just turn it on and hit the display button a couple of times. You know, let's run that again. I turn it on. Yeah, I would turn it on, and then the display button here, I would hit the display button a couple of times until the level gauge shows up. So this is the level gauge you're looking at, right? And essentially you want this crosshair thing to stay horizontal and it should be green. All right, so right now I have it, it's green. All right, so this is the Panasonic G85. For the Olympus, this is the Olympus EM10 Mark III. Shoots beautiful 4K. The only thing I don't like about this camera is that the screen doesn't flip out, and also it does break up the file into 4 GB chunks. So that you know, and also another issue is that it doesn't have a mic jack. But you know, I basically use it for photography, but you know, push come to shove, I'll use it for video. Sorry. All right, so to find the level gauge on this camera, I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to hit the info button. It's not a display button like the you know, like the Panasonic. I'm going to hit the info button, and this is the first thing that comes up. So this has a horizontal axis and a vertical axis in terms of level. This display allows me to level the camera horizontally and vertically. But for the most part, we are mostly concerned about the horizontal axis on the camera rather than the vertical axis. You know, the ideal situation is to have both of them on green, like I do now. So when the camera is level, as it is right now, showing that it's completely level. Both the horizontal and the vertical axis, in terms of the level gauge, is showing green. All right. Hope you're able to see that with my overhead camera. Yeah. So this is one way. So no matter the kind of terrain that your tripod is on, you know, whether or not you're using you know, a video head kind of tripod or a photo head kind of tripod, you know, the photo head, the ones that pivots here and there. This will allow you to, you know, to level your camera regardless of the situation. All right. So my third and final camera here, which is my this is an awesome camera. I just picked it up over the Christmas holidays. This is a sleeper camera. Trust me, a sleeper camera for both photo and video. This is a very, very good camera if you're thinking of getting into filmmaking. The only thing that this camera does not have, that I wish those, you know, that I wish it had, that those two others that I you know, show you before have, is IBIS, in-body image stabilization. This is that's the only thing that's missing from this camera. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is how to find the level gauge on this camera. This one is from Nikon now. So I went through Panasonic, I went to Olympus, and this is Nikon. So I'm going to turn the camera on. All right, so now the camera is on, and essentially I'm going to hit this button here, the display button again. Right, it has a display button. It's right here. So display button. Okay, you just keep on pressing it. Keep on pressing it until it shows up. What I notice about this one is that if I have the camera pointing down to my desk like I'm doing now, the level gauge disappears. So essentially I have to keep it at an angle, right? And there, let's hope that my camera can pick it up. All right, and it's similar to the Panasonics in terms of you know, in terms of accessing the level gauge, but it's a similar kind of display. When the camera is completely level, the level gauge is green, right? So if it's slanted or, you know, either way on the horizontal axis, it has a different color. In this case, it's white. But as soon as you get it level horizontally, you know, it's green. So right now I'm just, you know, kind of steadying my hands here, and so right now it's completely green. All right, there it is, completely green, meaning that it's 100% level. So this is the Panasonic Z50 Mark II, and essentially to access the level gauge, you just keep hitting the display button on the back here. Just keep hitting the display button until the level gauge shows up in the display. All right. So those are three different manufacturers. The Panasonic and the you know, the Nikon are similar in terms of how you access the level gauge, just hitting the display button. The Olympus, you would hit the info button, all right? So that is how you would, you know, in terms of these three manufacturers, this is how you would go about finding the level gauge on the camera so that you can place your camera on a tripod wherever, and you can have your camera horizontally leveled, where you're and of course, the other way, like I mentioned earlier prior to the cameras, is to using the bubble level on your tripod. And essentially, regardless of the terrain that the tripod is on, regardless of whether or not you have to extend one leg or shorten another leg, all you have to do is just watch the bubble level, and when the bubble is in the center, the tripod is leveled. It's it takes out all the guesswork out of that. All right, so I just thought I'd make this little video for you today, guys, because like I said, it's important. Not only it's important, it causes less frustration when you can have your camera leveled quickly, and not only that, you shoot videos or you shoot some photos and you get home and they're all out of whack in terms of your horizons and that kind of stuff. This, using the bubble level on your tripod, or using the level gauge or the level display in your camera, will definitely prevent you from having those scenarios where your photos or videos are not level. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay.